Test, test, test. Welcome, Hornet Nation, to Braemar East Arena for Game 3 of the Tradition Edina Hockey Tournament, where your Bantam Hornets will be taking on Centennial. Hornets are riding a 3-game winning streak. I think it's 3, as they look to exit pool play today with a victory over Centennial. We don't know a lot about Centennial other than I believe they lost to Andover, which we handled pretty easily. So Centennial, they used to be the Chiefs, and now they are the Cougars. So we're moments away from puck drop. And we'll be back. All right, moments away from puck drop. We're going to start out with the Ivany Ewers and Ferrara, backed up by Bauer and Helmer. And away we go. Helmer from the backside, throwing up to Ivany, who punches it down onto the Cougar tender. He has to swat it aside as Ewers leaves it for Ferrara. Ivany around the net, looking. Sliding it back to Helmer. Helmer back to Ivany. Ivany stood up off the puck, and the Cougars look to break out. They got a huge guy. Look at that guy. He's like 6'5". Mark that down in the huge guy report. As the Cougars throwing it out of the zone, Helmer punching it right back, and the Cougars maintain as they gain on the left side, dropping the pass off to nobody. Ewers looks up, and we get an early offsides with no score in this contest. Braemar's a very busy place today, as Bergmeyer, Kurvita, and Wilkins roll on. Potter from the backside assesses, looks up the ice, gets it to Bergmeyer, who chips it into the zone. Kurvita races down, rolls it, gets it back to Bergmeyer. Back to the point, Potts fires a shot, goes off to the left. Wilkins plasters his man into the boards, picked up by Bergmeyer, leaves it to Kurvita. Kurvita from the corner, back to Bergie behind the net. Bergie looks, and he's knocked off the puck as the Cougars try to exit the zone. Cougars come away as they tilt the ice back the other way. Stretch pass through the neutral zone is stick checked away. Kurvita reverses course and rolls through. With speed, he's knocked off the puck, as the puck is sent around the back of the cage to Nolan. Nolan throws it up to Wilkins. Wilkins around, tried to turn the corner, and he was hooked, I believe. We'll have to settle for a tripping call, but the Hornets will be on the man advantage with 13:30 on the clock and no score on the board. So Nolan, Hester, and Dorsey roll on. Backed up by Mizzle. It's good to see Mizzle back out on the ice. And Helmer. Puck back to Mizzle, sliding it over to Helmer. Helmer from the point. Chips it out front to Dorsey, who's mauled by a bunch of Cougars. Held up on the line smartly by Helmer. Now gaining the zone. Dropping to Dorsey. Dorsey slides across the line. Gets it to Nolan. Nolan blows a tire, and here come the Cougars racing through. 2-on-1 situation, rolling in. Looking for a shot. Saved by Quick. Cougars hold the zone with the huge guy. Puck into the corner. Mizzle drops it off to Helmer. Helmer looks up ice. Stretch pass up to no one. So I think it came on the backside. Cougars now trying to roll in. Nice stop by Helmer as he throws it up to Hester. Hester gains on the left side, rolls around, knocked off the puck by Hugie. Cougars throwing it up, but it's held down. Helmer pushed to the ground, centering pass. Dorsey tries to get it on his forehand side. He can't. Still held in the zone by Helmer. Helmer down to Nolan, or Hester. Dorsey from the corner, sliding it to Hester. Hester rolls in, looks for a centering. Turns, Burns, throws it back to Helmer. Helmer at the point, working his way in. Sliding it to Mizzle. Mizzle walks across the line, looks for a lane. Firing shot, and into the net! Well done. Was that a tip or not? So Dorsey tipped it out front on the Mizzle shot, and the Hornets are up early, 1-0 at 12:11 in the first. Relentless pressure on that power play goal as the Hornets find the back of the net. Off the draw, Ferrara throwing it over to Potter. Potter looks up ice, chips it up, and it goes down into the Cougar end for an icing, which will bring it back down to the Hornets' zone. So we will do it again with Ivany Ewers and Ferrara. Backed up by Potts and Potter. Quick shot on Quick, turned away. Cougars from behind the net, looking to turn the short sider, and they sneak it in on the short side. The Cougars have answered. With 11:57 on the clock. So the Hornets all skating around wondering what just happened. And I can tell you that this game is tied. So to undo the damage, Ivany tied up on the draw. Cougars now punch it down into the Hornets zone. Helmer keeping his man to the outside. Huge guy from the sidewall. Tried to work it up. Thrown out of the net. Ewers chasing down this puck, held by the Cougars as they reverse course and try to tilt the ice back up the other way. Momentarily punched into the zone as the Cougars go D to D. From the near side, intercepted by Ivany. Ivany rolls across the red line. He's hooked unbelievably. No call. What's with that? Held up on the line. Puck is punched back to Helmer, who slides it to Bauer. Bauer looking up ice. He just pitches it into the zone. And the Cougars collect behind the net, sliding it up the far side wall. Ivany pickpockets right on the line, trying to work around his guy. He can't, because the guy's too huge. Mizzle throwing it back to Bauer. Bauer looks up ice, tried to slow it up on the wall. He kind of didn't get the blade on it, but he knocks that puck down anyway. Up on the wall, Kurvita trying to work his man. Sliding out front, nice stick check there by Helmer, who stopped the centering pass. Helmer rolling through the red line, gains on the left side. Walking down, leaves it for Bergmeyer. Big, heavy check as Helmer is sent to the ice. And the Cougars now roll back through the neutral zone. Trying to punch it through. Dahlin pitches it up in the near side wall. Cougars with numbers, rolling across the line. Into the high slot, firing. Turned away by Quick. Good pressure here by the Cougars. They're maintaining a quick shot again. Again knocked down by Quick. Puck out front naked. Dahlin trying to send it up to Dorsey. Gets it up to Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer across the red line, throws it down, and we get an offsides with 10:03 on the clock. Scores knotted up at 1. And the Hornets complete the line change with Nolan, Dorsey, and Hester. Puck rolled back, Darlene from the line. Throwing it up to Nolan. Nolan gains in the center, walking across the circle, rolling in, trying to center it all the way around. Now from the corner. Digging at it. Hester rolls in. He's got it. Can he defeat the big guy? No. Cougars come away as now they break back towards the Hornet end. Through the neutral zone, Mizzle meets his man. The Cougars are forced to dump it in. Darlene pitching it up to Mizzle. Mizzle sending it up to Nolan. Up and over the stick, Nolan breaking in. He's got to beat the huge guy. From the high circle, it's turned aside by the Cougar tender. Up on the wall, Hester punches it back down into the corner. Nolan from behind the net steals it away. Dorsey in, trying to knock it down. Comes back to the point to Mizzle. Quick shot, steered aside. As the Cougars are trapped in their own end. Mizzle from the boards. Right centering shot. There it is, Dorsey. No wood. Back to Darlene at the point. Sliding it to Mizzle. Mizzle walks in, fires. Low shot. Rebound. Nolan couldn't quite turn the corner. Another opportunity for the Hornets as they're just buzzing. Darlene, high shot. And the flashing leather of the Cougar tender salts it away. 8:46 on the clock. So Ivan Ewers and Ferrara on, backed up by Potter and Potts. Ewers on the draw. Puck sent down into the corner as the Cougars try to roll around. Nice check by Ewers, holding his man up on the boards. Potter knocks his man down, but here's a race. Potter chips it back up to Potts. Potts throws it back down into the Cougar end. Up on the near side board, Cougars are content to dump it down for an icing. You can send it to me.
I can tell her, no, please don't share it with your team.
Yeah, that's fine. Give it to her at the period break. Cougars from their own end trying to advance it out of the zone. Potts does a good job holding the puck up. Now it comes to the Cougars on a fast break. Mishandled puck and Ferrara cleans up on the backside. Throwing it over to Ewers on the near side wall, dumped up to Ivany through the neutral zone. Gaining on the right side, walking around the circle, all the way in, short side shot, turned away. Ivany picks up his own rebound and keeps skating the cycle circle. Down to Wilkins. Wilkins on the wall, sending it to Ferrara. Ferrara back to Ivany at the point. Pinned up on the wall. Ivany still punching it down. Wilkins from the backside of the cage. Up to Ferrara in the corner. Ferrara back to Potts. Oh, and a misplaced pass, and it's sent all the way down into the Hornet end. Icing called off. Ivany cycles as he now, with speed, works through the red line, and he gains in the center. He's wheeling, he's dealing, but he is stopped cold by the Cougar defense. And now we got something. Interference is the call, and the Hornets will once again be on the man advantage. With 7:16 on the clock, and the score all knotted up at ones. So Ivany, Wilkins, Bergmeyer, Ferrara, Darlene. Ivany on the draw, comes away to Wilkins. Wilkins trying to turn the corner, he couldn't find it. Bergmeyer now working it. Wilkins behind the net from the corner, throws it back to Ivany at the point. Back down to Wilkins. Wilkins on the wall, sliding across to Darlene. Darlene looks for a lane. He doesn't see it. Down to Ivany on the wall. Ivany's all the way across, just a bit too far for Ferrara, and the Hornets will have to check up on sides. Darlene from the backside, leaves it to Ivany. Ivany cycles up the ice. Passes it too far for Ferrara, and we're going to get an icing. as the Hornets have failed to establish a power play setup that finds pay dirt. But they got a minute 20 seconds left to do it. So Nolan, Dorsey, Hester in, backed up by Helmer and Mizzle. Nolan off the draw, comes to Mizzle from the corner. Mizzle cycles behind the cage, looks up ice. He's going to take it through the neutral zone, rolling with speed. Inside, it's going to be Mizzle. Is it? No, Nolan couldn't find the shot on that. Sneaks out of the zone, and Helmer's going to have to collect. Helmer sliding it over to Hester. Hester works across on Dorsey's backside, but Nolan's there on the trailer. Sliding around. Cougars doing a good job disrupting play. One is trying to keep it in the zone. It squirts out, and Mizzle from the red line slides it over to Helmer. Helmer up to Dorsey. Dorsey misses on this chip-in pass, and the Cougars maintain. Sliding around the net. Cougars looking for an outlet, and they just throw it up the wall and out. Here's a one-on-one situation. Quickie's going to have to steer this aside. Smartly does. Gets it up to Nolan. Nolan sliding it across to Hester. Hester cycles back, throws it up to Mizzle. Mizzle tried to one-time it, stopped by the Cougars. They dish it right back down. 20 seconds left in the man advantage. Now Helmer up to Dorsey. Dorsey across the red line, looking for daylight, all the way across, sliding around. Oh, and the Hornets are offsides. Boy. As Ivany, Ewers, and Ferrara roll on, backed up by Potter and Potts. Ivany off the draw, puck back to Potter, over to Potts. Potts looks up ice, throws it up on the wall, misses it, but he gets his own, sliding it across to Ferrara. Ferrara turns around, tries to get it to Ewers, thrown aside by the Cougar defense. They throw it up the near side wall, and that should be an icing, and it is. 5:09 on the clock. Score 1-1. Ivany off the draw. Puck sent back to Potts at the point. He fires a shot. It hits traffic and is steered aside. Huge guy from behind the net, working it. Up on the wall, Cougars look to break out. Held in by Ferraro, punches it right back down. Ivany in on the corner against Hugie. Working him to the outside, Ferraro in to help out. Ivany holding on the wall, pinned up on the wall. Huge guy, slams it out. It's chipped up, held by Potter on the line. Thrown right down. Oh, now we got something. Looks like it'll be a penalty against the Hornets. Roughing is the call. And Ewers will do some hard time with 4:39 left in the first frame. So Bergmeyer and Wilkins on with Darlene and Mizzle to kill this one off. Puck slides across the crease. Nobody home for the centering pass as Bergmeyer meets his man on the wall. Bergmeyer tries to send it around the cage, but the Cougars intercept. Looking to center, the Cougars roll around to the far side corner. Back to the point. They go D to D, looking for a lane. Down to the dot, firing shot, clinked off the side with a clang. Darlene pinned up on the wall, comes away to Mizzle. Mizzle pitches it out of the zone, and it's sent all the way down onto the Centennial keeper. From the backside, long headman pass. Nicely done as the Cougars roll into the zone. Knocked to the ice, but still with the puck. Darlene working his man. Sent into the corner. Darlene. He's all alone. He's punched down. Cougars now take advantage. Back to the point. Looking for an opportunity to fire. Tip down, right in the slot. Back to the high slot. Down to the dot. Firing over the net. And the puck cannot be saved from exiting the zone. 1 minute left in the man advantage as Wilkins streaks down and works against a man who's clearly interfering. Wilkins. Now on the back check as the Cougars roar through the neutral zone, gaining on the right side. Rolling all the way around. Helmer tries to keep it out. Short side shot, salted away by Quick. So Nolan and Dorsey on with Bauer and Helmer. Nolan set to take the draw. Puck tied up right on the dot. Helmer tried to pinch it out, but the Cougars hold. They send it around the backside of the cage, and Bauer bashes it back the other way. Puck into the near side corner. Bauer battling his man. Throws it over to Helmer. Helmer looks up ice, chips it up to Nolan, who bangs it out all the way down. And the Cougars are going to have to reset up on the near side wall. Nolan looking across the red line. Fires it up to Dorsey. Dorsey hacks at his man, and he pitches it right down into the Cougar end. Nolan giving chase. As the Cougars now set and roll up with speed through the neutral zone, gaining on the left side, walking in. Bauer does a good job stick checking his man away. Bauer from the backside, looking at his options, looking up. Long stretch pass to Nolan, pitches it up to Hester. Hornet penalty has expired. Both teams are skating 5-on-5. Cougars ringing around the near side, throwing it out of the zone. This should be an icing. No, it's slowing down. Bauer picks it up, assesses his options, throws it up to Dorsey. Dorsey now working his way across the blue line, pitching it up to Nolan. Nolan enters the zone on the left side, trying to walk around, centering out front. Not enough wood on it as Hester meets his man in the near side corner. Puck on the line, and it just sneaks out, and we get an offsides with 1:50 on the clock. Puck slides back to Potter at the red line, and he just pitchforks it right down into the Cougar end. Hester, first man in on the puck. He's knocked off. Dorsey trying to bang it. Nolan throws it down to Hester. Cougars recover behind the net and look for a breakout. Up on the near side wall, intercepted by the Hornets. Dorsey bashing it back down behind the cage. Cougars look up ice again, sliding it up. Strange, long, hard pass doesn't find its way out of the zone. Nolan working this man on the boards. Hornets in on this, and they punch it right back down into the zone. Nolan looking across, fires a short-sider. Saved by the Cougar tender. As Bergmeyer, Kervita, and Wilkins roll on. Backed up by Darlene and Mizzle. Cougars come away, rolling through the neutral zone. Trying to snake through, swept aside by Darlene. Stopping short in the corner, throwing out dangerously in the slot. Firing shot goes up high and wide. As Mizzle recovers now on the near side wall, up to Kervita. Kervita through the neutral zone. He gains on the right side. He looks across. He tried to pass, but he whipped on it. Now it's into the corner. Wilkins smashing his man into the corner. Kervita digging, comes away, trying to, working it. Puck comes back to Darlene, who slides it over to Mizzle at the point. Mizzle all alone, firing a low shot. Sneaks through, but too far for Wilkins. Wilkins on the wall, down to Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer pinned against the wall. Physical team, these Cougars. As it comes over to Mizzle on the far side, into the slot area. Can Darlene save it? He can. But the Cougars bounce it back out the other way. All the way down, Darlene picks up on the backside with 10 seconds left in the period. Sliding up the wall a bit too far for the Hornets. And that's going to do it, people. End of the first. Score tied at 1. And we'll be back. All right, start of the second period. Ivany, Ferrara, and Ewers on, backed up by Bauer and Helmer. Score is 1-1. A tightly contested match today. Puck slides back to Helmer. Helmer bangs it up through. And the boys meet on the wall, and it's punched down into the Cougar end. Up in the near side wall, Cougars now advancing. Helmer holding his man to the outside and smartly chips it up, but it's banged all the way down to the far side corner. Bauer throwing it up to Ewers. Ivany smashing it out, still held by the Cougars as they toss it right back down. Bauer now working behind the cage, looks up ice, he's knocked down. Cougars now trying to center it out front as they roll around and try to roll it into the slot, down on the circle. We're going to get a delayed penalty against the Cougars as the puck is punched up and finally touched. Tripping is the call, and the Hornets will be on their third man advantage. Oh, mercy me. It's Ewers with his second penalty of the day. And the Cougars will be on the man advantage with 14:16 on the clock. Dorsey and Nolan in to kill this one off, backed up by Potter and Potts. Puck rolling to the point, all the way across. Shot hits traffic, pitched up on the wall. Potter battling his man. Cougars come away in the corner, looking to center, all the way around. On the dot, looking at options. Back to the high point. Walking across, down to the circle, firing across. There it is out front, banging, nothing. Comes away to Nolan, who sends it out of the zone. Cougars resetting from their back end. Dorsey in pursuit. Cougars now trying to advance through the neutral zone. All the way up, Dorsey comes in, slaps it on the wall. Cougars now gaining in the middle. Walking all the way around, swept aside by Potter. Puck comes back to the point, back down to the corner, into the high slot, all the way to the circle. A shot, it's there. The rebound was left wide. And Centennial has gained the lead, 2-1, with 13:20 on the clock. So the story of this game could be power plays. 2 goals already on power plays for each team. Puck back to Mizzelt, sliding over to Darlene. Back to Mizzelt. Mizzelt looks up ice. Tries to send it through, and the Cougars disrupt and try to punch it down, and they are successful. Bringing it around the boards. Cougars with a vicious forecheck, stopped by Quick. And the Hornets go for a line change, bring in Bergmeyer, Wilkins, Kurbita. Backed up by Mizzelt and Darlene. Bergie on the drop. Comes away to Darlene, who sends it over to Mizzelt. Mizzelt looks up ice. Tries a headman pass to Kurbita. Kurbita trying to break through. Can't find it the seam. Now the Cougars counter back the other way, trying to punch it down, and they do. Darlene from behind the net, sliding it up to Kurbita, just on his backside, but intercepted by Bergmeyer. Trying to headman it over to Wilkins. Wilkins gains the line, walking in, looking, trying to center it. Oh, and it fluttered just past Bergmeyer's stick. Cougars now tilting the ice back the other way as they punch it down, and they punched it into their own box. And we'll get a face-off. Bergmeyer off the draw. Wilkins comes away, now dances across the line, trying to work his way in. He's knocked off the puck. Cougars counter back the other way. Headman pass, intercepted by Darlene, who throws it up the far side boards. Cougars do in kind and throw it down into the Hornet end. Darlene can't find the puck. Now it's up and over. Quickie makes the save. Bergmeyer from the corner, looking, pitches it up, sends it down. Icing waved off as the Hornets go for a line change. Long stretch pass by the Cougars as they try to take advantage. Walking in, long shot, steered aside by Quick. Bauer from the backside meets his man in the corner. Punch back behind to Helmer. Helmer sliding it up to Ferrara. Cougars pinch and push it right back down. Helmer once again up to Ferrara, just past his skates. Sent back down on the wall. They center it across. It's in the air, but they're still holding it in the slot. A backhand shot is saved by Quick and sent into the webbing. 11:24 on the clock. Hornets on their heels the last few minutes. The goal by the Cougars has certainly given them momentum. Harvey on the draw, comes away. Homer trying to sweep it out. Traffic out front, banging. Comes away to Ivany, who gets it to Ferrara. Back to Ivany. 3-on-2 situation as he rolls down the left side, gaining the line, trying to sweep in. Centering pass. Still maintaining. Back to the point. Walking across, sliding it to Ivany. Ivany throwing it right back down. Ewers from behind the cage, sweeping around. Back to Helmer. Helmer fires. There's the tip. Nothing. Cougars from the backside, throwing it up right to Helmer. Helmer battling his man. Cougars come away. 3-on-1 situation, rolling in. Legged aside by Quick. Ferrara up, sneaking it past, powering through the red line. Gaining on the left side, looking across, and we get an offsides. Oh, you Hornets, stop doing that. As Nolan, Hester, Dorsey roll on, backed up by Potter and Potts. Nolan on the draw, sends it back to Potter, who swings it over to Potts. Potts punching it down into the Cougar end. Dorsey working it from the corner, whiffs on the pass. He's held up by two Cougars as Nolan comes in to help out. Puck still free, no one's got possession. Cougars come away. Pitch it up the near side wall, intercepted by Hester, rolls across the crease. Hester working it, curling back the other way. He has no outlet. Now picked up. Hester doing all he can, but he had nowhere to go. Cougars punching it down into the Hornet end. Potts battling his man. We're going to get a penalty. Checking from behind or boarding. Cross-check is the call with 10 minutes on the clock. And the Hornets will have the man advantage. So, Nolan, Hester, Dorsey, backed up by Mizzle and Helmer. Face off to the left of the Cougar tender. Nolan on the draw. Puck tied up. Comes away to the corner. Hester banged off the puck. Hester from the side wall gets it to Nolan. Nolan streaking in on the dot, firing! Shot goes wide. Helmer from the point, looking. Sliding it around, down back behind the cage. Dorsey to try to tackle the huge guy. Working it. Hester in to help out. Cougars now trying to send it down. They do. It's a one-on-one situation. Oh, and a beautiful check by Mizzle. He blows up his man. Nolan through the red line. Looking. Up on the line to Dorsey. Dorsey banged into the wall. Left for Nolan. Nolan throwing it back down to Dorsey. Just beyond his reach. Hester from the opposite side. Working it. Dorsey in. Dorsey squirts it to Hester, who rolls it back to Mizzle at the point. Now to Nolan. On the dot. Firing. Legged aside by the tender. Helmer banging it into the corner. Working against the huge guy. Dorsey in to help out. Held at the point. Hester throws it down to Helmer. Helmer looking across. Intercepted centering pass. Nolan chucking it back to the point. Mizzle holds, looks, sends it to Hester. Hester on the wall. Looks across. Looks for a lane. Sends it to Nolan. Nolan back to Hester. Hester over to Mizzle. Mizzle looks all the way across to Nolan. Nolan now working it on the wall. All the way around. High slot. Looking. Firing. Missing the net. Cougars trying to gain possession and punch it out, and they finally do. With 20 seconds left in the man advantage. Nolan from the Hornet end looks up ice. He doesn't find anything. He works it through the neutral zone, gains across the blue line, looks from the circle, looking, sliding it around. He can't find anyone to center it to. All the way around again. Still looking. He's just going to keep circling. Down to Hester. Hester back to Mizzle. Mizzle walks in, fires, low shot, tip. Saved. So the Cougar penalty has expired, and the score remains stubbornly 2-1 in their favor. With Bergmeyer, Kervita, and Wilkins rolling on, backed up by Bauer and Darlene. 7:55 on the clock. Puck sneaks into the corner, centering pass deflected. Kervita trying to roll it around. Now it's Wilkins' turn. Round the circle, looking. Can't find an outlet, and it's punched out of the zone. Bauer has to chip it up the wall, but the Cougars are effective in pushing it all the way back down. Darlene from behind the net, ridden off the puck. Kervita in to help out. Bunch of boys piled up on the wall. Look at that. Nothing's coming free. Still on the wall. Comes away to Kervita. Tries to punch it out. Held on the line. Now Darlene pitching it up and over. Wilkins giving chase as the Cougars slide around. Here's an opportunity. No, nothing doing. Bauer from the backside. Throws it over to Darlene. Darlene looks up at the red line. He's going to carry it in and just punches it down into Centennial's end. Bergmeyer on the wall. Trying to jam it through. Cougars slide it across the ice and work down through the neutral zone. Nice stick check by Bauer. He tries to slide it up to Darlene. Held on the line, and the Cougars bang it back the other way. Look at Bauer. He's a wrecking crew. He just stops everything. Darlene now, once again, sliding it over to Ivany. Ivany firing, hitting traffic. Ferrara trying to turn the corner. He can't. Sliding up on the wall. It sneaks out of the zone where Potter collects. Potter sliding it across, intercepted by the Cougars, but they got to wait for onsides. Punching it down into the Hornet zone. Potter from the corner, sliding up to Ewers. Ewers looks across to Ivany. Ivany up to Ferrara. Ferrara's got to reset as he looks up. Long stretch pass to Ewers on the wall, who throws it down into the Cougar zone. Ferrara meets his man behind the net. Ewers trying to come away with it, working on the outside. From the wall. Tries to throw it down. Can't quite get there, and the Cougars reverse course. Potts throwing it back down into the Cougar end. Cougars reset, stolen by Ferrara. All the way to Potter at the point. Firing shot, hitting traffic. There's the rebound. Ivany almost punched it through. Ivany leaves the puck from Ewers. Ewers back to Potter. Can't hold the line, and it sneaks all the way down into the Hornet end. Quick sends it over to Potts, up to Ferrara. Ferrara pinched at the red line, and the Cougars roll in with numbers. 3-on-2, centering pass, rebound, swept away by Ferrara. Pitches it up on Ewers' backside. They're rolling in with a 2-on-1, working it across. It's Ivany. It's not Ivany. Oh, here come the Cougars on the reverse. Rolling through on the left side, sneaking it up. Potts stands up his man. High sticking should be called there, but it wasn't. Punched out of the zone. Cougars trying to keep that momentum. Nolan throwing it down into the Cougar zone as they reset from the corner. Dorsey in to hack at it. Cougars come away, looking for an outlet pass. And Darlene tries to hold on the line. Racing back, he chips it back up the wall, and the Cougars send it right there as well. Both teams exchanging at the midpoint. As Darlene comes back, sweeps it out of the slot area. Dorsey picks it up on the backside, looking up ice, trying to get it to Hester. Pass intercepted, thrown down to Quick, who steers it aside to Mizzle. Mizzle, long stretch pass, doesn't connect. We should get an icing. And we do, with 4:10 on the clock. So Nolan, Hester, and Dorsey try to find the equalizer. With Darlene and Mizzle backing him up. Puck slides into the corner. Darlene trying to punch it up the wall. Cougars stubbornly hold it in the zone. Darlene meets his man, gets it to Mizzle. Mizzle to Hester. Hester now trying to slide it up. Cougars keep intercepting our passes. Come on, boys. Up on the wall, punching it through. Cougars stop it again as they slide it down, and Quick's got to fling it up on the boards. Cougars from the near side wall trying to center the pass. Mizzle holding his man to the outside. Mizzle throwing it up on the far side wall. Nolan trying to slide it up to Hester. Once again intercepted. Huge guy banging it off the wall. Mizzle pitches it up to Nolan. Nolan breaking in, stopping short in the circle, looking across. He can't find an open lane. He's in the high slot. He's tealing it around. Nothing. Mizzle now on the near side boards. Back to the point. Oh, and he intercepted a pass that would have gone to Bauer. Here's an opportunity for the Cougars as they roll in. Kervita, last man back, trying to stop his man. Long shot, gloved away by Quick. With 3:04 to play in the second period. Bergmeyer off the draw. And we got something. And I guess we'll do it again. Puck back to the point. Cougars firing a shot. Waffled aside by Quick. There's the rebound, and it's in. So Centennial has found the back of the net again, and the score is 3-1 with 2:57 to play. As Ivany, Ferrara, and Ewers roll on, backed up by Potter and Potts. From the near side, Potter rolling it up on the wall, intercepted by the Cougars as they roll in. Potts trying to hold his man to the outside. Cougars rolling, can't get a shot off. Cougars from the corner, trying to gain possession, trying to set something up. Back to the point, Ferrara trying to sneak it out, comes into the slot and banged up the boards by Potter. Potter holding the line, pitching it up, knocked down by the Cougars. And we get a hand pass. Which will give us a face-off at center ice. Ivany off the draw. Cougars gaining on the right side, trying to roll around. Shot goes wide. Cougars still holding the zone. And now they have to exit and touch up. And they slide it down on Quick. Swept aside by Potts. Sends it over to Potter. Potter from the corner, looking up ice to Ferrara. One times it to Ivany. Ivany trying to power through, trying to gain the line. He's rubbed off the puck as the Cougars send it around behind the cage. Ewers smashing his man into the boards. Back to Ivany, losing the puck. Here's a break for the Cougars if they can get it. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Sliding over into the slot and buried. Centennial 4, Hornets 1, with 1:48 in the second. Miscues are sinking the Hornets' chances deeper and deeper as this game progresses. They're going to have to find another gear. As Nolan, Dorsey, and Hester roll on, backed up by Darlene and Mizzle. Off the draw, Cougars throw it down into the Hornet end. Darlene from behind the cage, looking up ice, pitching it up, held at the line by the Cougars. Nolan trying to pitch it up on the boards, thrown up, trying to get it up to Hester. Nothing doing. Darlene from the backside. Looking for a lane, up to Dorsey, just beyond his stick. Cougars reverse course, trying to roll in, picked up by Nolan, who sends it down to Mizzle. Mizzle looking across, puck intercepted. So Cougars are held up on the wall. Sliding back to Mizzle, gets it to Darlene. Darlene looks for a lane. Sliding up to Darlene. Dorsey chases into the corner. Huge guy, rolling, trying to sweep it out. Dorsey centering a pass just beyond Hester's reach, and this one sneaks right back down. With 51 seconds to play, Darlene cleans up on the back end. Sliding it over to Helmer. Helmer looks up ice. Throwing it to Hester. Hester now up to Nolan. Nice headman pass as he rolls through. He slides around. Nolan, no, he couldn't find the wood. There's another one. Yes, did you see it? Dorsey on the trailer. Buries it. He gives the Hornets some hope. So the score is now 4-2 with 32 seconds left in the second. Right time, right place. As Nolan walked it in. Dorsey cleaned it and fried it. Off the draw, Helmer assesses, tries to sweep it up. Puck hits some traffic up to Hester on the near side boards. All the way down into the Cougar end. Dorsey gives chase, banging his way. Boys all piled up, 15 seconds left. Nolan trying to dig at it, Dorsey trying to dig at it, everyone digging, but nothing happening. Now that's just going to be the end of the period. And that's the way it stands after 2. Centennial 4, Hornets 2. And we're going to get a resurface, so that should lead to hopefully a very exciting third period where your Hornets look to claw out of the hole they have dug. So stay tuned. All right, just moments away from the start of the third period. Your Hornets are down 4-2. This is go time if there ever was one. We need to establish possession and aggressiveness early as Nolan, Dorsey, and Hester roll on, backed up by Bauer and Helmer. And away we go. Puck sent into the Cougar zone. Dorsey trying to force it his way through the slot. Turned away. There's a rebound. Nothing. Helmer pinches up. Cranker, certified fresh. Misses the net. Hester from the corner. Looking. Sliding it around. Trying to get it back to Bauer. And the Cougars pick it up. Bauer tries to intercept. Cougars now pressing down into the zone. Helmer meeting his man in the corner. Cougars battling, trying to gain possession. Up on the wall. Cougars still holding it. Now rolling in. Short side shot turned away. Someone broke their stick. And that's Nolan. Nolan's got to go get a new stick. As he just gets replaced, Ivany rolls on. Cougars cross the neutral zone. Trying to drive it down into the Hornet end. Long shot, sticked away by Quick into the corner. Mizzle meets his man on the wall. Dorsey blows a tire. Here's a break for Ferrara, almost pickpocketed. Huge guy, throws it in. Mizzle picks up the rebound. Mizzle looking up ice. Maybe there's something with the ice. I don't know if it's sticky or what. Another huge guy, rolling it onto the circle, picked up by Mizzle. Mizzle's got Ewers, rolling through, gaining on the left side. Walking all the way around, Mizzle with speed, fires in the upper, did you see it? That was the Mizzle show, doing it all himself. Rolling down the left side and lasering it into the uppers. And we have a completely different hockey game with 13:38 to play. Centennial is up by a slim 4-3. And unfortunately, Mizzle's mom just left and missed that one. Ivany on the draw with Ewers and Ferrara, backed up by Darlene and Bauer. Ferrara comes away, dishes it to Bauer, all the way over. Long headman pass, picked up by Darlene. Darlene rolls in. Quick shot, steered away by the Cougar tender. Still held in the corner. Now, powering in, Ewers. There's a rebound. Oh, and Bauer couldn't get the wood on it. Now, short side shot covered up. Good pressure by the Hornets that whole time. Taking advantage of some broken plays. As we'll do it again. To the right of the Centennial tender, Ivany on the draw. Puck tied up at that, comes away. Short side shot to Ferrara, gloved away by the Cougar tender. Ivany off the draw, comes back to Bauer. Bauer pitching it up on the wall to Ewers. Ewers scooping it up in the air. A lot of boys banging on it. Held on the line. Comes away to Ivany, who throws it back to Darlene. Darlene up the side, pitched in by Ewers, and it goes all the way down for an icing. We've got a face off to the right of Quickie. Ewers on the draw. Puck slides to the wall. Potts bangs it up, tries to push it out of the zone. Right into the high slot. Cougars couldn't get any wood on it. Now it's out of the zone, and the Cougars will have to reset. Nice deflection there by Ewers as he holds the zone. Now it's Ivany rolling in. Ivany, can you break around? Ivany, yes, Ivany! Sliding it across. Ewers wasn't ready for it. He wasn't ready for the centering pass. Farr in the corner. Battling his man, comes away. Cougars head man it up. Now break through the neutral zone. Potter keeps his man to the outside and Quick dishes it aside. Potts meets his man behind the net. Ivany in to help out. Cougars trying to throw it out front. Swept aside, still banging. Comes away to Potts. Up to Ivany. Ivany rolling through with speed. Gaining on the left side. Snaking around. Ivany firing into the upper. Did you see that? Yes! Hornets 4, Centennial 4. Brand new hockey game. Thank you, Ivany. Let's just remember that this game was once 4-1 in the Cougar favor. Not anymore. Bergmeyer, Kurvita, and Wilkins on, backed up by Bauer and Helmer. Don't know what that was about, but the ref just had a little conference with the Edina coaching staff. .12:05 on the clock. Berge on the draw, sent back to Bauer, who throws it to Helmer. Helmer firing it up to Kurvita. Kurvita gains the line, walks in, fires a shot. Hits traffic as it rolls into the corner. Bergmeyer, Wilkins, everybody's in on this. Cougars trying to come away with it. They slide it up for the breakout. They try to roll it across, picked off by Wilkins, who he himself loses it. Boy, some slippery ice. Kurvita now gaining on the right side. Tried to punch it across. Puck skids to the far side wall, and huge guy picks it up. Rolls it up through the neutral zone. Slapped away by Helmer. And Bergmeyer picks it up on the backside. Reversing course. Berge punches it up all the way down, and we'll get an icing. As Nolan, Hester, and Dorsey roll on, backed up by Mizzelt and Darlene. Face off to the left of Quickster. Nolan on the drop. Puck comes away. Boys battling at it. Nolan throws it up to Hester. Hester now advancing through the neutral zone. He's going to gain on the left side. Walks in. 3-on-2 for the Hornets. Rolling in. Knocked off the puck. Still controlling it in the corner. Dorsey comes in to help out. Boys all piled up trying to free that puck. Comes away to Hester. He tried to poke it back to Mizzelt. Nothing doing. And Darlene collects. Sliding it to Mizzelt. Mizzelt back to Darlene. Darlene looking up ice for a lane. Gets it to Nolan. Nolan curling around. Fires it up to Mizzelt. Mizzelt pitches it down into the Cougar end. From behind the net, Hester trying to throw it back to Nolan. Working from the point, Darlene sliding it over to Mizzelt. Mizzelt walking in on the circle, looking, firing short side shot. Turned aside and into the webbing. As Ivany, Ferrara, and Ewers on with Potts and Potter. Ivany on the draw. Ewers battling his man in the corner. Cougars come away from behind the cage, sliding it all the way across. Potter's going to clean this one up on the back end. Looking up ice, sending it to Ferrara. Ferrara dishing it, pulling it. Nice little toe drags as he rolls it back to Potts. One-timer. Oh, almost intercepted. Here's a 2-on-1 rolling in. Saved by Quick. Well done, Quick. Up on the wall. Cougars smelling fresh blood. As Potts wheels it around, gives it to Potter. Potter tried to dish it around, loses control. Out front. Nice stop by Ivany. Still free. Still banging. Nothing. Ivany from the corner. Dishing it up the wall. Held on the point. Ewers banging away at it, trying to drive it out of the zone. Ivany throwing it across to Ferrara. Ferrara up to Ivany, and he was knocked off the puck big time. As the Cougars now try to advance through the zone, they do, gaining right in the high slot. Firing shot trapped away by Quick. So Bergmeyer, Wilkins, Kurvita, Helmer, and Bauer. Held at the point, firing shot, misses to the left. Cougars punch it down into the zone. Bergmeyer trying to wheel it out. Helmer comes away. Helmer throwing it up to Kurvita. Kurvita sliding it over to Wilkins. Wilkins gains the line, tries to walk in, held right at the line. Swept aside. Cougars try to reverse course, but they got to reset in their own zone. Kurvita almost pickpockets. Comes back to Bauer. Bauer sliding it across to Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer gains on the left side, walks all the way around, fires from the shot. Sails over the net. Up on the near side wall, Wilkins curls, burns, turns. Thrown back to Bauer on the back end to clean up, sending it to Helmer. Helmer from the red line, sliding up to Wilkins, who deflects it into the Cougar zone. 8.5 minutes on the clock, all the way around the circle. Wilkins knocked off the puck, and the Cougars go for a long stretch pass. Partially deflected by Darlene. Well done. As the puck skitters down into the near side corner. Nolan looking up ice, sliding it to Dorsey. One-time pass to nobody. As Hester battles on the line. Dorsey in to bang it. Comes all the way back to Darlene, who slides it over to Mizzle. Mizzle looks up ice. Intercepted, but intercepted by Nolan. Now, 3-on-2 situation. Rolling in from the high slot. Nolan firing a shot. There's a rebound. Hester was hooked. No call. Prison rules. As they roll it up and down for an icing. Looking. Nolan on the draw with Hester and Dorsey. Puck comes away to Dorsey. Dorsey looks for an outlet, leaves it. Now he pulls it and he throws it back down into the zone. Nolan chasing on the near side corner. Dishes it to Dorsey. Dorsey banging up on the wall. Still held in the zone. Now the Cougars break back the other way. Rolling through. Mizzle meets his man. Stops it cold. Hester curls around. Gets it to Nolan. Nolan breaking through with speed. Trying to slice through the D. Thwarted in his attempt. Dorsey on the trailer. Can't get it. Can you save it? Yes, well done Ferrara as he throws it down into the zone. Cougars now looking to fast break. They can't complete the pass. Nolan comes in to try to scoop it up and push it down. As Ewers battles his man behind the net. Ferrara now in the corner, intercepting the pass. He's held up, knocked down by two Cougar players. Good forecheck by the Hornets, pinning Cougars down with 7 minutes on the clock. Long stretch pass intercepted by Potts. Potts rolling in. He gets it knocked off his stick. Here come the Cougars as they roll in on the left side. Walking in, rolling, firing, saving by Quick. Cougars still holding control as they try to slide it across. Nice little tip there by Ferrara as he rolls up and he's knocked off the puck. Cougars rolling back the other way. Big stick by Ewers are trying to knock that one out. Potts trying to hold his man to the outside. Cougars from the corner. Centering it out front. Swept aside by Quick. Right in the slot. Swept aside by Ewers. Bangs it up on the wall and out of the Hornet zone. For an icing and a well-needed line change. .6:19. 4-4 score. It's for Ivany Ewers on the line with Bauer and Helmer. Puck tied up on the dot. Cougars come away, work it in the corner, and they leave it. Bauer looking up ice, trying to get it to Ewers. Ewers now, he's got Ferrara. He's going to gain on the right side, trying to curl in, trying it, working it, nothing. Behind him, Cougars countering back the other way as they tilt the ice. Through the neutral zone they roll. Trying to sneak it up. Helmer collects on the backside. Fires it up to Ferrara. Long stretch pass over to Ewers on his backside. He tried to snake it through. Both boys go down. It's still held. Ivany holding it in, jumping over a player. All the way around. It's Ivany rolling behind the cage. Looking for a lane, looking for something. Sliding it back down to Ferrara behind the net. Bit too far as it goes by. Cougars trying to punch it out of the zone. Helmer from the back end, throwing it over to Bauer. Bauer now, his turn as he gains on the right side, walks in, toe drags, and battles this man behind with Kurvita. Puck sent out, held on the line by Ferrara. There's a rebound, they just jamming it, nothing. Yes, digging. And called off. Frothiness, but no goal. It was too fast and furious to call.
Where was the puck? Where was the puck?
So, Bergmeyer, Kervita, Wilkins, Mizzelt, Dahlin. Bergmeyer off the draw. Kervita sends it back, but just a bit in between Mizzelt and Dahlin. Quick, over to Dahlin. Dahlin sending it back to an empty corner. Mizzelt races in to get it. Tries to slide it up on the wall. Holds in the corner. Loses the handle. Cougars now jamming it down. Bergmeyer picks up. Leaves it for Mizzelt. Mizzelt looks up ice. Long stretch to Kervita. Kervita through the neutral zone with speed, trying to roll it. He decides to pitch it down deep with less than 5 minutes to play. Wilkins knocks his man off the puck. Cougars now come away with it on the break. Looking up ice through the neutral zone. They're going to try to gain on the right side. Walking down, firing shot. Sails wide at the point. Bergmeyer chips it up. Bergmeyer racing after it against huge guy. The puck is knocked up on the near side wall. Through the neutral zone, here come the Cougars. Across the line, into the high slot, firing. And gloved away by Quick. Nolan, Dorsey, and Hester roll on, backed up by Potts and Potter. 4:14 on the clock. Puck held up on the dot. Dorsey tries to sweep it out of the slot area. Potter banking it up on the wall. Puck sent down into the Cougar zone. Nolan giving chase. Working hard, trying to drive it. Hester trying to pin his man up. He sneaks it up the wall. Now Nolan trying to weave his way through. Puck held on the line. Cougars out of gas as Potter bangs it up to Nolan. Nolan held on the wall. Into Hester's skates. Nolan sending it back to Potter. Potter from the backside. Looks up ice. Looks. His pass is partially deflected on the wall. Dorsey trying to bang it, trying to corral it. And sent back down into the near side corner. Potter over skates. He's got to look up ice. Looking. Banging up to Dorsey. Still held by the Cougars. Potter's got to go look the other way. Wow, boys are missing all over the place in these whiffers. Puck sent out of the zone, but Cougars control it mid-ice. Into Dorsey's equipment, and he just throws it down, and Nolan gives chase with 3 minutes, 12 seconds left. Nolan battles his man in the corner. Cougars send it around in the near side. Bauer pinches up, leaves it for Ewers. Ewers fans on the shot. Another fan, a lot of fanning. Nolan now wheeling around the circle, looking at options, and he just throws it down to Ewers. Ewers slides it to Ferrara. Ferrara can't find anyone out front. Ferrara from the dot, back to Bauer. Bauer looks, fires low. Cougars sweep it away. Ewers battling his man, comes back to Ivany. Ivany from the corner, sweeps it out front. A clanker, a hitter, a nothinger. Bang it, nothing. Almost. With 2:37 left in regulation. We got a face-off to the right of the Cougar tender. Ivany on the draw. Puck sent back down into the corner. Huge guy rings it around to the near side. Ivany chasing his man to the wall. 3 Cougars in. Working it. Ferrara comes away. Hassled by his man, still in the high slot, and it sneaks out. Bauer in a foot race with Centennial. Centennial rolling in. A shot. A save by Quick. Lest I jinx myself, I've been informed that there is no overtime. With 2:15 on the clock, Bergmeyer on the draw. Dahlin from the corner, sweeps it around to Mizzelt. Mizzelt pitching it up to Wilkins. Wilkins just can't quite catch up with it. He works it on the wall, comes away to Kervita. Kervita in his skates. Punched out. Dahlin tries to hold at the red line. Rescued by Berge. Oh, an almost intercepted pass. Hornets having trouble getting possession. Dahlin holding his man up on the wall. Bergmeyer in to help out. Less than 2 minutes to play. Long fluttering shot saved by Quick. 1:46 on the clock. Bergmeyer on the draw. Puck tied up on the dot. Comes all the way back to Quick, and Quick covers up.
That's open.
Unusual move as Centennial has pulled their goalie. They must need the points more than we do. So we will have a 6-on-5 situation deep in Hornet territory with an empty Centennial net. Bergmeyer on the draw. Comes away, tied on the dot. Cougars now swirling in the corner. Looking across, right in front, over the net. Wilkins battling his man in the corner, trying to punch it out. Held at the point, thrown down behind the net. There it is out front, there's banging, there's more banging, and there's a lot of banging. And there will be a penalty. Cross-check is the call. And now it gets dicey, because it looks like it's going against the Hornets. It'll be a 6-on-4 situation for 1 minute and 22 seconds. So the Hornets go for a line change, bring in Nolan and Dorsey, backed up by Bauer and Potter. Got to get it out of the zone. Nolan on the draw. Comes back to the point. A cranker into traffic. Cougars maintain control. Throwing it back to the point. Firing shot. Hits traffic. Cougars working it on the wall. Hornets trying to keep them outside. Off the side of the net. Cougars from the corner. Looking for a lane. Back behind the net. Trying to center it out. Trying to get something going. Now back from the corner. Hornets doing a good job with less than a minute to play. Cougars punching behind the net, trying to get it out front. Hornets can't seem to clear it. Back to the corner. Cougars looking, all the way across. A shot saved by Quick. Up in the air. Cougars still controlling with 40 seconds left. From the near side, goes off the side of the twine. Cougars hold the zone. They throw it back down, intercepted by Bauer. Yes, out of the zone. 30 seconds left to play. Now back to the D as they slide it up over the line. Cougars trying to gain the zone. There's Nolan, who pitches it right back out. 22 seconds left on the clock, and we get an offsides. 19 seconds to play. Faceoff comes back down to the Centennial zone. The goalie will have to come back on. So we're back to a 5-on-4 advantage. Ivany and Ewers roll on, backed up by Bauer and Potter. Puck off the draw, sent all the way down. Potter in a foot race, throwing it up the wall. Ivany pitching it in, hits traffic, rolling up on the wall. Boys battling. Held up on the wall by Potter. Into the slot, last chance. Oh, another penalty is going to be called. And Centennial scores with 2 seconds on the clock. And with 2 seconds, this game is ended with only a face-off to come. And that's it. Not sure what that means for tomorrow's schedule. So the Hornets battled hard and they battled back, but in the end it wasn't enough. So that's the way it ends on Saturday afternoon at Braemar East. Centennial 5, Hornets 4, and we will see you sometime tomorrow.